At the very heart of our lives, there's this one fundamental question, right? It shapes everything we do, everything we value, and at the end of the day, who we become. So today, let's explore that exact question. What do you truly treasure?
Pastor and author Francis Chan, he just kicks things off with this incredibly sharp observation. He says that for a lot of people of faith, there's this deep internal tug of war. It's not that we're rejecting God, not at all. It's more that we're trying to have our cake and eat it too. You know, keep our dreams, our comforts, our plans, and then just kind of add a layer of Jesus right on top.
And Chan gives this a name. He calls it the have it both ways problem. It's this deep desire to hold on tight to our current life with all its earthly stuff while also trying to get the eternal one. But he argues that's a huge misunderstanding. This isn't about addition, it's about an exchange.
Okay, so why does this happen? Well, Chan offers a diagnosis. He goes straight to Scripture to identify 3 specific worldly loves that can sneak into our hearts and become our own.
He points us to the book of 2 Timothy, which has this warning. It says that in the last days, the church will start to become indistinguishable from the world around it. You know, that the world's values will just seep into the pews almost without anyone noticing.
And what are those values? Chan zeroes in on 3 main ones. First, a love of self, which, let's be honest, kind of defines our modern culture. Second, a love of money, where the default setting is always to get more. And third, a love of pleasure that can slowly but surely push out a love for God.
And when you put these side by side, wow, the contrast is just stark. The world shouts, love yourself. Jesus says, deny yourself. The world says, grab all you can. Jesus says, grab a cross. The world says, follow your heart. Jesus says, follow me. Chan is crystal clear on this. These aren't compatible ideas. They're totally opposing forces.
So if that's the problem, what does the alternative actually look like in real life? Well, Chan shares this incredibly powerful story of a community that just completely let go of all those worldly loves.
It all starts in this small rural village in China. Okay, picture this. About 70 families living on a little hill. They grow their own food, no cell phones.
Now, these 70 families, they were so convicted by their faith to care for orphans, they went out and adopted 160 children from local orphanages. That's more than 2 kids per family. But here's the part that just stops you in your tracks. Every single one of those 160 children had special needs. We're talking cerebral palsy, Down syndrome, missing limbs. This wasn't some once-a-week ministry program. This was their 24/7 life of total sacrificial love.
And this experience just completely rewired Chan's idea of what church even is. It had nothing to do with a building or a formal service. The beauty? It was in their actions. It was a community that had truly died to themselves to serve other people.
So how? How does a community live like that? It takes this massive, fundamental shift in perspective. And Chan illustrates this perfectly by comparing 2 key stories from the Bible. So on one hand, you've got the rich young ruler. When Jesus tells him to sell everything, he walks away sad. Why? Because he was only focused on the cost, on what he had to give up. But then you have the story of the man who finds a treasure hidden in a field. What does he do? He joyfully sells everything he has. He's not thinking about the cost. He's totally fixated on the incredible value of what he's about to gain.
And this right here is the heart of what Chan calls the kingdom mindset. It's this total flip in your thinking. It's shifting away from seeing sacrifice as a burden, as this heavy thing you have to do, and instead realizing it's an opportunity so amazing that giving stuff up actually becomes a joyful act. Now for Chan, this isn't just some nice theory. He brings this whole idea right down to earth with his own personal struggle with wealth, which gets us to how this applies to all of us. This verse is everything. Jesus says whatever you pour your resources into, your time, your money, your energy, that is where your heart is going to end up. It's inevitable. If you store up treasure on earth, your heart's going to be stuck here on earth. So check this out. After writing a few hugely successful books, Chan suddenly found himself with about $7 million in royalties. And this put him face to face with a massive decision that would really put his own teaching to the test.
And his reason for giving it all away? It's not what you'd think. It wasn't because he felt he was so holy or pious. Actually, it was the opposite. It came from self-awareness. He admits, I know my own weakness. I know how much I like stuff. So he made a really practical choice to protect his heart and keep it focused on eternal things.
The result of that one choice was this direct exchange of treasures. I mean, he could have bought the dream house in Maui, the fast car, things that rust and fade away. Instead, that same exact money became medical clinics in Zimbabwe, clean water wells in India, a school in Uganda, and a safe house for trafficking victims in Thailand. It was a trade. Temporary pleasure for lasting, life-changing impact.
And so, this whole thing circles right back to us. This question isn't just for pastors or famous authors, it's for every single one of us. If it's true, if where we put our treasure is really where our heart will be, what does that mean for our bank account, our calendar, our life goals? What will we do differently?